We're taking a peek into geek culture and sharing our top 10 fandom favorites. Let Your Geek Sideshow presents Geek Culture Countdown. Hey guys, this is Kitty.
And this is Paul.
And we are coming to you from the Sideshow Studios in Southern California. Welcome back to the Geek Culture Countdown. This week we are hitting the grill to serve up a list of the top 10 fictional burger restaurants. These pop culture hangouts for hungry characters have the secret ingredients needed to make our mouths water, wishing they could be real franchises. Their mascots and mottos are iconic across fandom, branching from films to television to comics. Hold the pickles and grab some napkins as we count down the best burgers in the biz and see if your favorite food venues made the cut. Order up. All right. Thank you for joining me this week, Paul.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm starving.
I know. This was one that I regrettably, as we went through the list, I was like, oh man, I know what I'm doing for dinner after this. Do you want to introduce yourself as a first? People may or may not know you from the Chat Cave, but this is your first time on one of the Let Your Geek Sideshow podcasts.
Yes.
Would you like
this
to
is my first podcast.
Oh, ever?
Yeah, ever. I used to practice podcasts, like driving, but it was just to me and my dog.
Oh, okay. I'm sure your dog very much appreciated that.
It was we had a good audience.
Excellent.
Me. But so I'm Paul. Some of you again might know me from the Chat Cave. I worked in customer service as well.
Is that a question?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? But yeah. So now, so a lot of people might know me more recognizably from the Chat Cave.
Okay. All right. But you are now joining us for this show, so that'll be pretty exciting.
I am so excited.
Okay. So let's just dive right into it then. I think you've got our first one on the list with number 10.
With Paunch Burger.
Paunch Burger.
Which is probably... this is going to be a hot take right from the beginning. Probably my number one fictional restaurant.
Wow.
But that's also because I'm constantly wearing my mouse rat hat, and I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan.
All right.
Paunch Burger is one that is very near and dear to my heart. I don't know. Anytime I think greasy food that I just want to not want,
yeah,
I think Paunch Burger.
Parks and Recreation or Parks and Rec. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
They're notorious for, when you think of the fictional food franchises in their world, none of them are particularly the number one choice of the paragon of health and good image. I mean,
yeah, the only one was Sue's Salads, and that got ran out of town, as Leslie so eloquently put it.
So you want to tell us a little bit more about Paunch Burger or what their deal is?
Yeah, they are a large food monopoly, if you will, a conglomerate, not like anything we know in our real life. But yeah, they're just something that, they're all over town and people just love them. One of the biggest plot points of Parks and Rec is, whether that abandoned lot should be a park or should be a Paunch Burger. Someone's like, now I got to drive. I've got to drive 2 miles to the other one to get my double bacon grenade deluxe. So, it's very, it's a big metaphor, if you will. It's great though. I don't know. And then I just love it.
Yeah. And then, and reminding me, it's been a while since I watched, because I watched the show once it ended, but it's one of those ones where I can't quite bring myself to rewatch it yet. Cause I'm like, I like the emotional journey of that show, but remembering that Paunch Burger is Leslie's kind of biggest enemy for quite some time, if not
are.
The majority of the time.
They're always this big looming enemy. She has the smaller ones like Jeremy Jam and such, but even his agenda is pushed, or his personal political agenda is provided by Paunch Burger, and so they. They have that great bit where they're like, oh, well, this is a large, this is a child size. They're like, how is this a child size? They're like, well, if you liquidated a child, it would approximately fit into this cup.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's Paunch Burger in a nutshell.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's interesting because I think as we progress through this list, we'll also see that half of them are very satirical takes on somewhat familiar fast food organizations. And some of them are just oh man, I wish we had that.
Right.
Which, speaking of satirical takes, number 9 on the list is Moobies. And this is a restaurant featured in Kevin Smith's View Askewniverse. It has appeared in several of his films, most notably in Dogma, Clerks 2, and then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Oh my God, the mascot for Moobies is Mooby, the golden calf, which if people know, It's a biblical reference of like idolatry, and
Yes,
he's
it
got
is.
he takes a lot of inspiration from Mickey Mouse and Barney the Dinosaur. Movie also began, I think, in this universe as like a children's TV character, but then of course, like as you franchise it, he's got a restaurant and he's got this thing. The restaurant features playground equipment, kind of like the classic McDonald's.
Right.
But the playground equipment is shaped like a meat grinder. Very colorful, very child friendly.
I
as
would
far
play
as
in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't pull me off that thing.
Couldn't be any worse than like a ball pit or anything.
No, it's got the same level of germs.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, just wash your hands before you eat your lunch.
Yeah, why not?
And their slogan is, I personally love this. I just love how declarative it is. Their slogan is, I'm eating it. It's I'm sure you all know what famous phrase that's a parody of, but just the declaration of movies. I'm eating it. Like
It's edible.
It's edible. It's what's for dinner. And the restaurant also offers MovieNet, which is their version of internet.
Yes.
As seen when
This place has the internet.
yes, yeah, internet cafes
Yes.
and burger restaurants, because Jay uses it in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back to go on internet message boards.
Right.
So this place kind of has it all, but it's
elegantly tell people how he feels.
Yes.
Like very kindly, just like how the internet is now.
yes,
Very nice.
very diplomatic, very civil.
Wonderful opinions.
So movies is kind of that quintessential parodies everybody, but especially McDonald's in terms of fast food.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Wow.
I'm eating it. That's what it reminds me of.
Yep, pretty much. All right, so number 8 on the list, something a little less sinister, if I recall. Not all of them are big, scary corporations.
They're not all. Some of them are, huge, like camaraderie places, if you will. Yes. The number 8 on the list is the Peach Pit.
All right.
Yes, from 90210.
Yeah,
And,
Beverly Hills.
All right. Now, full discretion. I did not watch the entirety of 90210, but I do have a lot of people in my family who were like obsessed with that show.
You mean you didn't do all the research I asked you to for this? No, I'm kidding.
You gave me so much homework. I just had my nephews do it for me. There's
the best way to do your homework would have just been to go, I had a burger. That's all I need to do.
It was a pop up, I think, and it was. That's actually it really was a pop up, and I think a lot of these places like benefit so strongly from like you said, like the iconography of like just the visuals of it. Like the Peach Pit is very like, I did not even really watch 90210, like not at all.
Yeah, no worries.
Full discretion, everyone. But I knew what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally know what that is.
Yeah.
And it's just so like seated, and I did have a pop up in LA. All that filmed in LA. I did find out. I don't know if it's still true, but the restaurant where they like filmed that or used it for location, it was closed down.
Oh no.
Yeah, like right after.
Oh.
Like it was like it became like some Korean barbecue restaurant.
Oh.
And then they're like,
and the Peach Pit's more of like a quintessential Americana diner, right?
Yeah. So it was kind of funny that after like we're gonna make this Korean barbecue restaurant, and then they're like nobody wants this, and then like 2 years later, Korean barbecue blew up.
Oh,
in, like,
okay.
LA. And it was like, oh man, timing and chemistry, and it just didn't have it. And and I, one of the things that I researched very heavily into this was whether like what are like some iconic dishes in a lot of these places on the list.
Yeah.
And like everywhere I looked was like the peach pie.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I love peach pie. So I was like, that sounds amazing. That's something that I would definitely love to have. I mean, do you have any like particular memory? Because I'm pulling here. I'm trying.
No,
I don't have any specific memories with the Peach Pit.
I don't either personally. Yeah. I have that visual. It's got the kind of like the seafoam green diner cabinet. Yes. We got the neon red sign, and it is one of those quintessential sitcom hangouts where they wipe screen and then it like everyone's there, and they may or may not come back to applause and as they're filming in front of a studio audience. But the Peach Pit for Beverly Hills 90210. Yeah, it is one of those standard like. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily have to be super flashy, but because of how consistent it was for the characters and the environment in the show, that's why it's on the list.
I mean, whether you watched 90210 or not, it is iconic. Yeah. Regardless.
And in that similar vein, talking about sitcom television sets that become pop-ups and whatnot, number 7 on our list is the Max.
Yes.
Another regular cafe hangout for the students of in Saved by the Bell, students of Bayside High. The sports teams, the Bayside Tigers, would always go to celebrate their games at the Max.
Their wins. It always seemed like they won.
All
the time.
It's a 90s, late 80s to early 90s sitcom.
I'm gonna have to check those stats. Yeah, I don't know what they're so happy about.
Someone's call the ref on that one. Its decor is bright, quintessentially that kind of between the 80s and 90s. You got that neon, you got those like linoleum countertops, you got the weird. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, like the weird like seat padding and the like aluminum chairs and it is another quintessential. It just looks like
confetti. Like the tabletops always remind me of like confetti that was just like laminated like into the table.
Yes, and they've got that weird little metal ridge outline. And
I love it.
And the show was the restaurant, the Max, was owned by a magician named Max, and it featured heavily throughout Saved by the Bell. It also featured in the spin-off series Saved by the Bell: The New Class. It was burned down in that series, but then renovated because they wanted to keep like continuity. And then I found out while researching this, not only did it have a pop-up, and that I believe actually in researching, and I could be wrong, the pop-up that did the Peach Pit, like the company that did the Peach Pit and the Max, also did a couple other ones on this list that we'll get into. We'll get into. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. But technically, because the show was so committed to the realism of the environment, even though it was built on a soundstage, it was technically a fully functional restaurant. It wasn't public, obviously. They only serviced kind of the cast crew, and they served extras. They served extras food from the craft services table. But the Los Angeles County Health Department did rate the actual physical functional Max that they used on set, and they got a D rating for their health. Because I mean,
for delightful.
D for delightful. I'm sure.
The best.
That was not a grade that any of the Bayside High students would want on their report cards. But obviously, and I mean, if you're on a television set, it's not going to be like.
Yeah, we don't know how television restaurants are graded. They may be graded, I don't know.
Yeah, but like the fact that they were like, we're going to commit, we're going to make a fully functional, if we wanted it to be, restaurant, but...
Oh, we need to clean it. That's what we forgot to do.
There it is. That's next time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, fry and shake, please. I'll still feed me.
Even if it's got a D. But yeah, the Max is one of those ones that is... Actually, it's really hard to look for anything about it from the show because everything now that you Google is just that pop-up. It was just so bright pink.
Which I think that's really great for that show, too. I mean, it just keeps it alive constantly, which it deserves to be. That's an amazing show.
Yeah.
Loved by so many people.
Yeah. And the fact that it got spinoffs and they kept the restaurant through the spinoffs.
That probably was that was in the writer. Like, you could do whatever you want. Just make sure you keep the Max alive.
Yeah. All right. So you want to go to number 6 on our list?
That brings us to number 6, which I'm really stoked about, which is Big Belly Burger.
Woohoo!
Which this one's trickier because it's like spread out all over the DC universe. Like it exists in comics, I feel.
Yeah.
But it's like way recent comics, but it's more prominently it's more prominently showcased, I'm sorry, in like the Arrowverse, in the Flashverse. I know like my when I think Big Belly Burger, I think of like those first 2 episodes when Barry Allen is like testing out his speed, and then it just cuts to him with like a pile of Big Belly Burger trash, and he's like, "Whoo!" He's like, "All right, let's go again."
Yeah, because he got that crazy metabolism.
Yeah, and that's like their that's like all of their guilty pleasures. I mean, I think I'd mentioned it to you before the show very slightly that they even did like a commercial for it, and they had to apologize because people are like, where do we get? There's like, no, this is for a show. It's an advertisement.
The viral marketing goes too far.
If you would have just gotten past the pictures of French fries and seen like, this is promoting The Flash.
I mean, personally, I don't blame anyone who stopped at a picture of French fries and was like, I want those because I want French fries constantly.
Very on brand.
It's funny that you mentioned The Flash because I've seen it mostly in the comics. I mean, like when I first encountered Big Belly Burger. But I also think of the DC Bombshell statue because Jessie Quick is she's one of those like roller skate waitresses, and she's got the Big Belly Burger
the bag
stuff, and she's got her roller skates over her shoulder, I think. But yeah, that's what I always think of. I'm like, oh, okay, Jessie Quick, because it is like you like to think of those burger joints as the quintessential.
Yeah.
I think I've said this at least 5 times in this podcast. Quintessential Americana, like that's the retro, the diners that you see constantly.
And I love, one of the reasons I think that I kind of like my eyes lit up when we mentioned like, oh, Big Belly Burgers, because the reason that I loved, that so much is like, to me, that grounds superheroes. It's like, oh, they eat fast food like me.
Yeah.
I'm halfway to being a superhero. I'm one French fry away from being the Flash.
That is the correct takeaway from that one.
Yes. That's every day. You know what? Got to make it work.
All right. So now we're about halfway through our list, and it's time for the honorable mention. It was a very, very niche suggestion made by one of our team leaders, Buffy. Obviously, she may or may not be biased, but the honorable mention goes to the Double Meat Palace, which isn't all that it seems. This was featured, as far as I know, really only in like one. It was like the plot point of one episode, but I don't think it really appeared in many other Buffy episodes.
Not that I saw, but it was like one. I'm sure I know you're gonna get into it. I'm so excited because it cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so crazy that like it resonates so well after 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, because apparently it is one of the more popular Buffy costumes to do. Is doing you get the name tag, and then the uniform of the Double Meat Palace, because they boast that their burgers are a mixture of both beef and chicken. It's a red cap with a cow on the front, but like a rooster's backside on the back of the cap. And so apparently it's recognizable enough when people go, oh, okay, that's Buffy working at her summer job to pay off debt. So in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Double Meat Palace is kind of a duplicitous burger restaurant, but not for the reasons you might think. When Buffy first gets her job there to pay off some debt, she does try one of the burgers and asks what the secret ingredient is. And she's given the runaround, told that it's a meat process. Ooh, and everybody thinks immediately, all right, they're grinding up humans.
It's Buffy, and you're
this isn't the only burger restaurant on this list. We got one later in the list that has been accused of using humans for their food. But the mystery continues as suddenly Buffy's coworkers stop showing up, and it's like, okay, they're definitely getting grinded up into these burgers. Turns out there was a monster that was attacking all these people completely unrelated to the incident because these people smelled like bacon grease and burger stuff. But
I'd be dead.
Oh yeah,
I'd be dead so fast.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But the true secret they discover is that the burgers aren't actually meat.
It's something worse by their standards.
The double meat. Yeah, this was extremely shameful in the like what is this early? It's like late 90s, early 2000s.
Mid to late 90s.
Yeah, so it's like it's not actually meat. It's cellulose, which is vegetable byproduct that has been treated with beef fat. So it's not vegetarian, but it's not meat.
Yes.
And so that is the true diabolical secret of the Double Meat Palace. And this episode actually caused controversy with corporate sponsors who didn't like the way that the fast food industry was portrayed, because they thought, like you're leading people to believe that they use human and there's like Buffy finds body parts because the people are being killed outside the restaurant. Right. So she's like, oh my God, they're using body parts. But yeah, a couple of Joss Whedon said that one of the most controversial things that ever happened on this show was a burger, because corporate sponsors threatened to pull. But so it's on our list because technically it is a burger restaurant, but the burgers aren't actually the burgers that they present themselves to be. So it's a little shady dealings.
The fact that they think that's worse, it's like
that definitely speaks to the cultural moment that was
100%.
filmed in.
What was going on then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? Now it'd be all the rage, man.
It would be, yeah. If we could get it, we could maybe have it here.
Yeah, who knows? All right, I've also got number 5 on the list, and we are now hitting the top 5. Number 5 on our list has probably my favorite catchphrase. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? The origins of the Good Burger, of course, come from the classic sketch show All That, which was like my bread and butter growing up. Like that was one of my all-time favorites. But it grew beyond the initial sketch, and it became a movie with a movie soundtrack. Because as I was looking this up, it was like, oh, did you mean Good Burger, the sketch, the movie, or the album? And I was like, there's no way it's an album. It's the movie's soundtrack. Yes. So I was like, what kind of burger songs did Keenan and Kel possibly record? And And of course, yes, the recurring sketch featured Kel Mitchell as Ed, the cashier, who's often messing things up in the restaurant.
Yes.
That was pretty much the plot point of every
Yeah, it
one
was
of those
not a
sketches.
fantastic employee,
No.
but he tried his best.
You know what? And he had fun working there.
He
And
did.
his little song drumming on the cash register, like, I'm a dude, you're a dude, we're all dudes.
Yes.
God, it was so
Still
90s.
seared into my brain,
So
whether I
90s.
like it or not. Now, is this where the orange soda originates from?
No, but the secret ingredient that was introduced in the movie was orange sauce on the burgers. But there is kind of like an orange theme running throughout Keenan and Kel's skits.
That's like a nod.
But it was kind of a nod. But orange soda was a totally separate sketch. And Keenan was actually not in the sketch until the movie in '97. And it introduced him as a fellow cashier named Dexter.
Right.
So one notable staple was the orange sauce, which was included. This was one of the other restaurants that got a pop-up created by the Peach Pit and Saved by the Bell or Saved by the Max organization. And of course, those burgers did feature the orange sauce. And then I know that I was going through and trying to refresh my memory of like all the punchlines for the skits, because sometimes someone would be like, I found a finger in my burger, and he's like, all right, no extra charge for the finger. Or if someone was like, hey, there's something wrong with my order, his other catchphrase was, no.
No, my favorite is, I don't even know if it made the movie. I know it's in the movie, but when he tells him just a shake, please, and he like reaches over and he just moves him.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if that's in the theatrical cut, but I know it's like in the version I have.
Oh my god!
Oh, so
there were
good.
so many good like stupid visual puns.
Yeah.
And that
I feel like that kind of opened up a lot of doors for like Nickelodeon to be like, okay, this kind of humor resonates well, not just on the small screen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I watched that in theaters.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't.
Oh my
people
God.
went out in droves. I was one of them, so
God,
I remember.
I love all that. That was one of my dearest favorite shows.
And my brain constantly goes back and forth between when I look at like a smiley face, I either think all that or Watchmen.
Okay.
And it's usually leaning
Two
towards
very-
all of that.
Very different things to think of when you think of
Same
it.
writer, no? Same writer?
yeah. Alan Moore wrote all that.
Yeah, he was in a different point in his life there.
Yeah, But so good burger, and whenever I walk into a burger place, I always just think, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? It's just like, yeah, that's the good stuff.
And I love that's how the movie starts and that's how the movie ends.
Yep.
Perfect bookmarks there.
Excellent. All right,
Now
you got the next
number
one
4 on our list is one I think that we both kind of spazzed out a little bit. Is the Krusty Burger.
Krusty
From
Burger.
a little show. Is it still going? I don't know if it's still going.
It's been around a couple years.
It's called The Simpsons. Yes. Oh man. So you know what's funny is I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah, I was not allowed. And then once I was old enough, I went back and I just blew through it.
You know what?
As much as I could.
Similar situation. I was allowed to watch the Halloween specials because my mother believed that I knew enough about the context of Halloween that Halloween is bad, like ghosts and monsters, those are the bad things.
Right.
So whatever I saw in the Halloween shows, I wouldn't do because I was like, that's bad. And to her credit, when I did start watching The Simpsons, I did pick up some bad habits or catchphrases from The Simpsons. Eat my shorts. No. But she was afraid that if I watched the regular Simpsons and I saw Bart doing his Bart thing on a regular basis, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. But the Halloween ones, I was allowed to watch.
Rocks.
So I'm like, these are scary and you only do this stuff at Halloween time and it's woo. But yes, enough about that. Krusty Burger. Not the only burger joint on this list, which will give you a little hint for what's to come. Not the only place on this list that uses Krusty in the
Krusty
name.
Burger joint around.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's not an appealing word.
No, it is not. But yet people go.
Yeah,
I always think my favorite Krusty Burger moment is when Krusty Burger moment. I'm sorry, is when they do a parody of not the documentary, Super Size Me.
Yeah.
And then he's just day 30 eating this food. He's like, we're only going to use his leg. We're only going to use his leg for food. The monkey cooking patties. It's
Mr. Teeny.
Mr. Teeny. Yes. He's like, it's in the menu. It says there. Might be monkey hair in it.
Yeah, Krusty Burgers is also one of those quintessential send-offs of this is not a great place, but it's the one that's around and it's got a clown for a mascot. And
it's edible.
My favorite Krusty Burger moment is the infamous steamed hams scene with Seymour Skinner and Superintendent Chalmers that has transcended The Simpsons into meme status. My favorite version of that meme was someone made a Spotify playlist with somehow they found almost exactly like songs that had the entire like the words. They like wrote the script out for the steamed ham scene with Spotify songs. Anyways, it's ridiculous. It's a trip. But yeah,
I'm gonna need that playlist.
Yes, I will send it to you. When Seymour Skinner tries to pass off the burgers as his own home cooking because he burns the roast, and then he offers Superintendent Chalmers steamed clams, but then he says, "Oh no, did I say that? I said steamed clams," and he's like, "Oh, it's a New York thing. Really, I'm from Albany. It's up in Utica." Just like. And then the kitchen burns down, and it's just, oh my goodness. But like, yeah, that's the one that it's like it's there, so it's the last resort for people in Springfield, kind of.
I would like to applaud you for your Simpsons retention.
Thank you.
Because there's so much that like I think my brain's just like, we'll get to that when we get to it. Like if it comes up,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah. Simpsons was like Simpsons, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Simpsons and another yellow burger flipping character are my entire meme language.
Basically. And not a pop-up, but they do have a permanent residence, if you will, at Universal Studios.
Yeah,
they do, which I've been to once, and it was very busy.
Oh man,
very busy. But I mean, it looks pretty rad inside.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll have to check it out sometime. The one time I went to Universal and went there, I went to the Duff Gardens little area.
Yes,
but they've got a bunch of Springfieldian foods there. So
yes, they do.
Krusty Burger is number 4 on our list. Number 3 is a family affair. Number 3 on our list is Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
They offer a unique Burger of the Day special with a pun name. And Bob's Burgers is a hidden gem for the visitors of the Wonder Wharf, owned by Linda and Bob Belcher. They're located in they're kind of like with The Simpsons, like the Springfield, where it's like you don't know which Springfield it is. You actually don't know where Bob's Burgers is located. It's near the Wonder Wharf, and they're on Ocean Avenue. But it's been stated that they're either in Long Island or they're in New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah. I thought like at a Comic-Con once he'd like came out. He was like the most requested thing in like his inbox and came out and might have said, "Oh, it's probably in New Jersey," but like they left it kind of open. They're like, we don't focus. There's no reason for us to focus on that.
Yeah, because there's no place where people can go and like that's where Bob's Burgers is. And it's located across from Jimmy Pesto's Pizzeria.
Yes,
they're often harangued by a number of inconveniences, including their obnoxious rivals, petty health inspectors, and suspicions of using human meat. And also, of course, the general antics of Tina, Louise, and Jean.
Oh, I love them.
I love them so much. And the restaurant is a family operation. Tina works the grill on weekends because the other 2 children can't be trusted with anything that produces flame.
It's probably smart.
Understandable. Yeah, especially because Louise would set anything on fire given the chance.
Just to see it burn.
Just to see it burn. And it's even they've even once upon a time had a mischievous mascot called Beef Squatch.
Oh yes.
As they are always trying to desperately drum up business. And I tried my hand at coming up with a little burger of the day for our podcast.
What's our special today?
Today's special is the Lettuce Your Geek Side Show burger wrapped in a lettuce bun instead of bread. That's one of my favorite things about the show, and I think that is what makes Bob's Burgers so endearing, because even in the universe of that show, it's not the top destination for people. Most people usually stumble upon it and then go, hey, this is actually pretty good, or like the neighbors down the street for the art store, Jimmy Pesto, are like constantly trying to get Bob's Burgers shut down. But yeah, it's one of those things that they're always like, oh, that's surprising, but like
such like a phenomenon. Like, I mean, everything about that show, like the animation is so original, and I love. Like, to me, I originally jumped on that show because I'm a huge H. John Benjamin fan.
Yeah,
he's just that dude. He can read me the phone book. He's hilarious.
He's amazing.
And yeah, that show is amazing. Like, if people can't see it now, but I'm doing the Tina twerk, just in case anyone was worried about it. I am doing it. Yeah,
yeah, and I always love. Like, as soon as the scene starts in the restaurant, I'm like, I'm dying to see the burger of the day board and the fun little explanation they've got for it.
Or even the restaurant, the building next door that's constantly opening and closing.
Yeah, that's not the moratorium. The one that is the one that's
it's like constantly fluctuating. I love when shows do that. It just like rewards the viewers who constantly watch. Like
another show that does that really well. Like for me is The Good Place. Like with all the fake food restaurant names in the Good Place neighborhood. So it's like I love that they take that extra time. And one of my favorite things about Bob's Burgers is that it is a family business. I mean, for as much as the kids are little butt munches sometimes, like the family loves each other, and the humor is never at the expense. Like sometimes they'll be like, oh, Tina's doing her like erotic friend fiction again, but at the end of the day, the whole family supports each other, which, you know, sometimes like The Simpsons had its golden age for me, but like there were some points where it's like they were too mean to Lisa or like something like that. But Bob's Burgers, they always support. Yeah. Like Belchers do Belchers. Like they always support each other, and that's one of my favorite things about it.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
All right, we're getting up there. Top 2.
Oh, yes.
What could possibly be left?
What could be better than Bob's Burgers?
I don't know.
I would say the Krusty Krab coming in at number 2.
All right.
From another little show. Man, these are just like really little startup shows.
Yeah, I know.
From SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh my lord! I mean, we could have done our entire fake menu on the Krusty Krab.
Seriously, salad.
All the things you're gonna bill me for: breathing, sitting.
Oh my goodness!
My overall essence.
They had a giant. I don't know if you saw it at either San Diego or New York Comic Con, both because this year's the 20th anniversary.
The pop up.
They had
something.
full reconstructions of the Krusty Krab where I didn't get a chance to see what was inside, but they were doing activities in there. But like,
I know I was only there Saturday, and I was like, oh, do I do con stuff or do I? Do I order? Do I go bug Squidward? But yeah, oh man, I mean, the Krusty Krab is one that is just that. I mean, that one is pretty seared into my brain. That's another one that's incredibly iconic.
Yeah, like for their Krabby Patties.
For their Krabby Patties, their pretty patties.
Pretty patties. And the secret ingredient. Like we don't have the secret formula.
Yeah.
Like,
and I've been trying for 20 years. Have not figured it out.
You and Plankton both.
Yes. Maybe it's whatever's in that the restaurant at Bubby's.
Double meat.
Yeah. Some sort of vegetable.
Goodness. Maybe they use land creatures because I mean they're sea creatures, or maybe it's a
There's a lot of questions that we could get into. Like, what's really going on?
Yeah, but as evidenced by the fact that it's been 20 years and Plankton is still trying to steal that secret formula, and people are still going, and SpongeBob is still cheerfully flipping burgers in the back. Like,
he loves it. Yeah.
The Krusty Krab, and unlike Krusty Burger, where you've got the cigar chomping clown mascot, like the Krabby Patty. Thankfully, it's called the Krabby Patty instead of like the Krusty Patty, because you probably would need something called the Krusty. But the Krusty Krab, like that is a place that you want to go, and it's familiar to people. And even when they did their rebrand of the Killer Crab and the Cool Crab,
the Kooky Crab. Yes.
Gosh, I love that one so much. But it's that's one of those places that like the show's been around for 20 years. Like,
that's insane.
It is one of the longest running American animated television series. Of course, second, I think it's actually 5th, but like behind The Simpsons.
Right.
But it's one of those ones that endures, and the Krusty Krab is like a centerpiece to that series.
It sure is.
That's one of the best burger restaurants. I mean, I have vivid memories, vivid anxiety as a child of the episode where the guy didn't want pickles and he was like hiding the pickles under his tongue.
Pull them under his tongue. Oh, I can see his face right now.
I don't remember his name, but like
man,
I'm getting mixed with the Kevin the Sea Cucumber. But
that's who I was going to say, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Yeah, but yeah, the Krusty Krab, that was the centerpiece of that show.
Yes.
Besides the pineapple under the sea.
Of course, yeah. And I think, and I love the at its heart, like as I've gotten older, I love so much the rivalry between him and Plankton.
The chum bucket across the street.
Yeah. Like, oh, good Lord. I mean, it's so amazing. I mean, everything. It's funny how like that. I wonder if it started like to them when they were writing the show. If it's gonna be like it's gonna be like a secondary character, something that we're not really gonna. It's just gonna be in the background, and now it's become like whole plot points, and like I've seen people cosplaying as the Krusty Krab.
Oh
like,
my goodness,
it's pretty fantastic.
Krusty Krab is unfair. Mr. Krabs is in there. something oppression. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean like
that's probably it.
It did become its own secondary character, and a very very specific like. the episodes in which something was changed about the facade or the menu, like those were very quintessential episodes.
Or they go
like,
into the future.
they go into the future.
And it's all chrome.
Yes. I'm looking forward to my chrome-plated Krusty Krab pop-up restaurant. Get on that universe.
Yes, please. Thank
Please.
you. The Max people.
All right. Yeah, please. If they hear this podcast, we love your work. Please consider this.
Please do it. I'll eat a Krusty Burger. I don't care.
Yeah. So, number 1 on our list. I have a quick question for you, Paul. Do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
I don't. What do they call it?
Well, according to Pulp Fiction, they call it a Royale with cheese. Number 1 on our list is the Big Kahuna Burger from Quentin Tarantino's filmography. It has been featured in numerous films, but none more famously, I believe, than Pulp Fiction. As Jules says, hamburgers are the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast, and the Big Kahuna Burger is the centerpiece of an important and badass interrogation scene in this film. The Hawaiian-themed restaurant chain has also appeared in Death Proof, Reservoir Dogs, and 4 Rooms, as well as Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn and the accompanying television series. There have been, and it's appeared in different ways. I mean, very specifically in this scene from Pulp Fiction, which you can easily find on the internet. Like, you got the bags, the people are eating the burger, they're discussing the restaurant. But like in From Dusk Till Dawn, there's commercials for it, and there's the iconography of like the logo is like a big burger and then a dude with a long surfboard.
Right.
Kind of shadowed up front. Since it's been used in Tarantino's films, many real-world restaurants will name an item on their menu or even their own restaurant, the Big Kahuna Burger, just to kind of homage that. And it's a good encapsulation of anything Hawaiian burger themed.
Exactly, yeah.
And the popular food blogger Binging with Babish, I don't know if you've ever seen those.
No.
He does like recreations of fictional foods. Like I think. Speaking of The Simpsons, he did Ralph Wiggum's rainbow crayon sandwich, but it was like food color and marshmallows, so you could like get the like.
Oh, so he didn't fully commit to the crayon.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna actually. I know. Peel the wrapper off the Crayola.
From the crayon in his nose.
Oh my god! But he does like recreations of fictional foods when people go, oh, I wish I could have that meal from like Studio Ghibli or like whatever. And so he created his own Big Kahuna Burger, which in the movie didn't. There's a quick shot of it, and of course you see Samuel L. Jackson eating it, but it's not like terribly remarkable. So he kind of created his own twist on it, but like there is a step-by-step instructional if you would like to make your own Big Kahuna Burger.
Yeah.
And as they say in the film, now that's a tasty burger. That one, I just think the use of it throughout Quentin Tarantino's filmography and the enduring like the presence of Pulp Fiction and just the fact that an entire scene revolves around discussing burgers and
I mean, and it's another one of those like iconic like burger joints that's so ingrained in like the history of pop culture.
Yeah,
I think like whether you're like, oh yeah, I do know. Like I've probably I'm gonna just. I'll give you guys the inbox for my hate mail a little later, but I've only seen Pulp Fiction like twice.
Okay,
like,
only twice.
Only twice, yeah. But I mean, there's people that I've seen dozens of times. So I'm like, I don't associate.
You're getting a side eye from super producer Sam if you can feel the daggers in the back of your neck right there.
That's what that was.
It's a little tense there.
Are there thumbtacks on my chair? And it was another one of those movies where I was just like not allowed to watch, and anytime I had media, it was like being funneled to me by like my family, and they're like, you can't watch this. Yeah, here's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. Here's Lord of the Rings. Enjoy your lembas bread.
There you go. Yes. Oh, that guy needs to make some lembas bread.
Oh, that'll be our next one. We'll do fictional breads. But I also think Pulp Fiction also did a good job. Because the other famous food from the Pulp Fiction is the $5 milkshake. Like what milkshake could be worth $5? So this film did a lot for like I think it was just the cool factor. Yeah, there's just something undeniable. And I mean, Quentin Tarantino himself, any film he does now is basically instant icon status. Like he's kind of earned that. Yeah. So the Big Kahuna Burger does take the number 1 spot on our list. And now I am real hungry. So I'd say we should wrap this one up real quick and then...
To go?
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this one up to go. And we'll get you guys the recap real quick so you can make sure you didn't miss anything. And then we're going to go get some food because I'm starved.
Please. Just throw french fries at my face.
So, to recap our list, honorable mention goes to the Double Meat Palace. Number 10 is Paunch Burger. Number 9 is Moobies. Number 8 is the Peach Pit. Number 7 is the Max. Number 6 is Big Belly Burger. Number 5 is Good Burger. Number 4 is Krusty Burger. Number 3 is Bob's Burgers. Number 2 is the Krusty Krab. And number 1 is the Big Kahuna Burger. So, did we serve up a satisfying list, or was this one underdone? If we missed something that you think should be on the list, be sure to check out our blog and send us your opinions at podcasts@sideshow.com. Thank you for joining us. That was the top 10 fictional burger restaurants. Do you enjoy the Geek Culture Countdown? We are proud to bring you pop culture content completely ad-free, but that doesn't mean we don't need your support to help keep us going. Please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform and help spread the word about our podcast. We welcome fan feedback. Email us at podcasts@sideshow.com with your thoughts and suggestions for how we can make our shows even better. Plus, tune in for our other pop culture podcasts. See your favorite comic and film characters evolve across 2 generations in the bi-weekly Then and Now podcast. Hear exclusive interviews with celebrities and pop culture industry leaders as they let their geek side show in Look Who Showed Up. Then get all the latest pop culture news with our daily briefing, a 2-minute breakdown of all the biggest geek headlines perfect for your Alexa or Google News briefings. We wouldn't exist without your continued support. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to let your geek side show.